Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum ad nastana. Pleasure to be back with you here on Points of Light Radio. And it's a double pleasure today for me because I'm going to be interviewing a gentleman that belongs to an organization that I've been wanting to feature during the entire 4 years I've been bringing you Points of Light Radio. And that organization is the Loyal True Blue Association, right? Now, the LTB are a unique and autonomous loyal order, and it has a distinctive Canadian nature. Just to give you some insight, the Loyal True Blue Lodge was founded in 1867 in Ontario, Canada, by members of the Loyal Orders. However, if you look, and this is where, you've often heard me say this, there's more to some of these organizations than you think. If you look at their symbolism, you see, for instance, here you see two links in one of their symbols, right? What other organization uses links? Let's be honest, the Oddfellows. So obviously, some of the founding members of this organization had to have been Oddfellows as far as I'm concerned. Right now, the Loyal True Blue confer 3 degrees: blue, white, and scarlet. Right? Membership is open to both men and women. Now, there are 3 Loyal True Blue ceremonial lodges in the United Kingdom, one in Ulster, one in Scotland, and one in England. Right? To join, one must be Protestant and a believer in the supremacy of Jesus Christ. Right? And I can't wait to bring this to you. And now I'll also give you some background. My guest today is a gentleman who reached out to me on one of the Facebook pages for one of the orders I belong to. His name is John Knox. Now, Mr. Knox is the worthy master of the Thistle and Maple Leaf Lodge, number 1638 in Scotland, right? This True Blue Lodge there. And I keep saying this. I can't wait to introduce him I can't wait to meet him myself. I'll be meeting him here in a few minutes. So I'm going to get set up and my studio set up, and then I'm going to introduce you to Brother Knox. So trim your lamps, brothers and sisters. Follow me. John Knox, welcome to Points of Light Radio.
Thank you very much. It's great to be on here.
And you are the worthy master of the Thistle and Maple Leaf Lodge number 1638 in Scotland, Loyal True Blues.
That's correct, yes.
Why don't you tell my listeners and viewers about yourself?
Well, I'm a member of a number of loyal orders, in particular the Royal Orange Institution, Royal Black Institution, the Apprentice Boys of Derry, and I'm also a member of 2 organisations which started in Canada. One of them only still exists in Canada, that being the Loyal Orange Young Britons Association and the Loyal True Blues Association as well, which now for the last couple of years has existed over here in the UK. I joined, the first thing I joined was the Royal Orange Institution back when I was 17. Mm-hmm. And I'd always wanted to join when I was a kid, I wanted to go into the juniors, but my parents weren't too keen on that for some reason. So uh, instead, I waited until after I had left high school, and then I joined that organisation. And quite quickly afterwards, I joined the Apprentice Boys of Derry and the Royal Black Institution. And then a number of years later, I was um, when I had been around the Loyal Orders for a while. I found out about the Loyal True Blue Association through the internet, and one day I happened to notice a post on Facebook and one of the many Loyal Order groups that I was in, advertising the Loyal True Blues uh, were having a degree day. So you would go there and you would go through the 3 degrees of the organisation in the one day. Uh, that was back in January 2016. And so I decided, and this was taking place in Guelph Orange Hall in Ontario, Canada. And so I decided I'd never been to Canada before, but I'd always wanted to visit. And I decided I'd quite like to join the Loyal True Blue Association. So I ended up coming over for a visit. And I went through the 3 degrees of the Loyal True Blue Association and became a member of the Astor City Lodge in Guelph.
Yeah. Now tell us about the Loyal True Blues, though. Tell us a little bit about them. What's your experience in them?
It's a very interesting organisation. It's interesting to kind of contrast and compare them with some of the other loyal orders, and it's clear. Obviously, one of the defining features of the Loyal True Blues was that they were, at least in the past, they were a mainly female organisation. You can have
Oh, yeah.
you can have members of both sexes as members, but in the past it was overwhelmingly a ladies' organisation. I don't think that's necessarily so much the case today.
No.
Certainly not in the 2 UK True Blue lodges, where there are female members, but they're um, a minority of members within those 2 lodges. Um, you can definitely see the influence of ladies' orangism,
Mhm.
particularly in the fact that there are so many odes in
Uh,
the ritual.
yeah.
Obviously, I don't want to give too much
No,
away
no,
about
so
the
no, I
ritual,
understand that, but yeah.
I think I can say that there are quite a lot of odes in the ordinary um, handling of the meeting and in the degree work, and so you definitely see that. Um, it is a very as well as that. The degree work is quite quite involved. It's quite complicated, even at
Oh,
times.
wow.
Yeah, and I would compare it in some ways, not necessarily in the content, although that's to some extent the be shared things, but certainly in the complexity and so on of rituals. I would compare it to the Royal Black Institution in that kind of scale. That would be if a lady ever wanted to get a sense of what perhaps what the Royal Black is like, I would say to her, "We'll go and join the Loyal True Boys," and you might get a sort of an idea of it that way.
Mm.
Because it's probably as close as they would be able to get.
And can you see, for instance, orange influence in the way the lodge room would be set up, or just, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is that typical sort of. Um, it, fraternal setup. Even it even goes beyond like the Orange Order, and that the roles and the way the lodge room is set up is very much reminiscent of the Royal Orange institution. Although in the third degree, or which is the Scarlet degree of the Royal Troubadours, things do change a little.
Oh,
So the names of the office bearers stay the same, but the names change. So it
yeah.
can get that can, in itself can be quite complicated because you're having to remember, I'm instead of worthy master, I'm a chief companion, for example,
Oh,
and
okay.
things like that. Uh, but the overall structure does remain the same.
So you would say that any Orangeman that chose to join the True Blues, if they walked into the lodge, would feel rather comfortable being there. Like they would.
Yes, I definitely think so. They are very similar organisations, especially when it comes into their ideals and the ethos of the organisation. It's in some ways they're very very close to one another in those ways, and the structure, as I say as well, the general the way the meetings are conducted. There is perhaps, as I alluded to before, maybe a bit more pageantry
Okay.
to the way that a normal Loyal True Blues meeting would be carried out compared to a normal Orange meeting. But that could also that might be a that might even just be my own experience, because I suppose there are some Orange lodges where they would naturally have a bit more pageantry than perhaps my own, or things like that.
Yeah, now, the requirements, obviously, it's open to both men and women of the Protestant faith, but how old would one have to be before joining?
You would have to be 16 in order to
16.
join. Yes.
Okay. Now, what are your duties as the worthy master?
Um. So since the World Trivia Lodge 1638 was opened here, um, as were the master since then. Uh, we unfortunately opened our lodge just a few months before COVID hit,
Oh,
and with the lockdowns and things. So that kind of did knock us off kilter a little bit starting up. And so even now, a few years later, we are to some extent kind of picking up some of the slack that's still from then. So as worthy master, I've had perhaps a little bit extra in terms of duties. For example, just the typical stuff that I will bring the regalia and the lodge furnishings and that to meetings. Uh, Unfortunately, just because of the way things have happened, some of the duties involved that we really ought to be the secretaries, I've had to do on a temporary
yeah.
basis as well, um, until we kind of get on a firmly established and so even at the moment there's still a little bit of
You're still establishing what it is.
yes,
It
yes,
sounds very similar, though, to a worshipful master of an orange hall.
yes. The duties are generally the same. It's just that because of our particular, um, we have a little bit of a nomadic existence at the moment as a lodge,
Oh,
because we have no single meeting place. Although there is the place we were meeting for in a couple of weeks' time is the place we've met for a little while now, but we have no.
you don't meet in an orange hall?
No, actually, we have held meetings in Orange Halls. In fact, our inaugural meeting was in Blackie Street Orange Hall in Glasgow. We've also met in Cumbernauld Orange Hall
Okay.
and in Bells Hill or in Moss End, Orange Hall in Bells Hill. But the place we meet now is actually in a church. One of
Okay.
our members is the minister of a church, and so we're very glad that he's able to make available for our use.
Now, and like I said, you mentioned regalia. Do you wear regalia similar like collarettes like you would in the orange?
Yes, we were very blessed in that members from Canada had found. I believe it was actually in the Loyal, in one of the rooms in the Loyal True Blue and Orange home, or Orange and True Blue home.
Yeah.
There had been this stack of regalia basically left in these big boxes and things, and it's absolutely beautiful from like the early 20th century, all embroidered regalia, and they were able to send over quite a bit of it to us. So we have these really beautiful collarettes, and they're decorated with they're royal blue in colour, and they're decorated with this gold
Wow.
threads and things, and it is we are very blessed to have those in our possession, as well as lodge furnishings as well of a similar nature, uh, royal blue, and then embroidered with gold thread.
Now, does the blue parade like the orange does?
I believe in the past, certainly in Canada, it did.
Yeah.
I've seen photographs, and again, the organisation at that time was mainly female, and so the ladies would turn out impeccably dressed in white dresses with the aforementioned collarettes over them, and
Mm.
looked at, with their white hats, and looked absolutely fantastic. In Scotland today, uh, I personally have taken part in one parade wearing the uh, True Blues
Mm.
regalia. Every year there is a parade in Stirling, organised by Stirling and District Campsie Branch Club
Mm.
of the Apprentice Boys of Derry, and they invite members of all the loyal orders
Mm.
to come and parade with them. It's a parade to commemorate the Battle of Passchendaele,
Okay.
uh, and
But they
uh,
don't have a set, like for instance, the orange has the 12th, the black has Scarva. They don't have a set day they do that.
no. Perhaps in time we'll have uh, our own date, but at the moment, as I say, the numbers really aren't there to have our own event like that. If we were, if any troopers were to wear their to take part in something, it would be as guests, probably of some other organisation. But to my knowledge, there's never been a True Blue parade
An actual
anywhere.
day, yeah. But
That would have only been in Canada sometime in the past.
now you mentioned the makeup. You mentioned the numbers. What is the makeup of the Thistle and Maple Leaf Lodge number 1638?
Um, in terms of numbers, or in terms of
Well, in terms of, makeup, men, women, young, old.
um, there are a couple of lady members, but the majority of our members are male.
Mm.
Um, why that is, um, I could guess it's perhaps because um, myself and some of the other initial members were we kind of spread the way we spread word about it was through the other loyal orders, so
Yeah.
it maybe didn't get to as many ladies as it would if some of the other initial
Mm.
people had been female. But we're always open.
Do you find though, well, this is interesting. Now you say they're members of the others. Do you find that there are members of the True Blues where you are that are not members of other loyal orders, or because you
Um,
don't have to be in the loyal orders to join this, right?
no, you don't. You don't have to be a prior member of any organisation to join the True Blues. You could just join the True Blues.
Yeah, right off the
But
street. Yeah.
yes. However, I tend to find, I think, all, perhaps barring one, certainly in Scotland. I can't speak so much for the Northern Irish Lodge, but for the one here in Scotland, Thistle and Maple Leaf, 1638, every single member, except possibly one, is a member of at least one other loyal order, and was prior to joining the True Blues.
So
It tends to appeal to people who are already involved in the loyal orders, and it tends to appeal to people who join more than one loyal order already.
oh yeah, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, and but you are seeing, are you seeing growth in it so far in the loyal True Blues? Are you seeing an interest peaking at least a little bit?
Yes, it has been hard because the timing, as I mentioned, starting up just before everything shut down.
Yeah,
That was a
timing was
kick in the.
bad.
It was bad for everybody.
Everybody, I agree.
Bad for every organisation, but just the timing for us was just. It really was a kick in the ribs.
Yeah.
But we're starting to gain our footing again. We are getting new members as we go forward. Um, our next meeting, I don't know if we have any new members at our next meeting, but we are putting certainly at least one of our current members through their third degree, God willing, at that meeting. So we are progressing. Things that are there wasn't a big massive landslide of new members, unfortunately, as much as I would have liked to see it.
Yeah.
But we are slowly and surely growing, and in a sense, maybe that's a good thing because it's sustainable, and it's
Exactly.
it's not just boom and bust. The people who are there really want to be there and really want to see it grow, and hopefully we can. Certainly, things like this even might get people to hear about us more, and it might pique their interest.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say is the best thing about the Loyal True Blues, though, is the real richness and depth of the rituals.
Good.
And when they are done properly and fully, with all the odes and the music and the apparel and the regalia and the furnishings and all the rest, because there's quite a lot goes into it to do it fully. But when that's done fully and properly, the rituals are so impressive.
Okay.
And really stick with you. And to me, that is the big major selling point of the Loyal True Blues to me personally.
Yeah. So it means, yeah, the spiritual. I love that. I love that. That's a beautiful thing. And what would you say that membership in the loyal orders has done for you?
The Loyal Orders has, among other things, it's taken me all over the world.
Wow.
I've gone to Australia to take part in Apprentice Boys, the forming of an Apprentice Boys branch club. I've taken part in the last post ceremony in Belgium, in Ypres, with with the Apprentice Boys and also with the Orange institution. I've paraded in the Republic of Ireland. I've made friends in Canada and in the USA, and Really, it is a major part of my life. I would count alongside my church, and when I was growing up, I was in the Boys Brigade.
Oh,
Alongside those two institutions, the Loyal Orders are among the most influential in my life, and the amount of friends I've made over the years, it's and through Loyal Order associated things, it's incalculable, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. I'm always telling people that they should join this, that, or the other, because I'm always trying to recruit for pretty much everything. But whichever people choose to join, I would really encourage people to get involved if they can, because these are wonderful organisations to be part of. They're based on really, really important things, and so you have the ideas, the ideals is the bedrock, but it's the people that you get to meet
oh, for sure. Yeah.
and
The
work with.
brotherhood is where it's at. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah.
And that's what makes it. It's not. These aren't just. They're not just words. They're not just
Yeah.
ideas. But it's actually real life, and you're able to put it into action by being a member of these things and joining with your brothers and sisters when it comes to the LTBA to put that into action.
Well, Brother Knox, I appreciate your time today. All the best to you and the Thistle and Maple Leaf Lodge.
Thank you very much.
That was John Knox, brothers and sisters. Right. And I can't express to you how fulfilling this was. Okay. I've been chasing this organization for 4 years now. Finally, we've been able to feature them here on Points of Light Radio. And, I think it's wonderful, right? In spite of COVID and a lot of setbacks, this organization has managed to establish itself in the United Kingdom, right? I think it's sad, personally, in many ways, that this organization that was founded in Canada by Canadians is now bigger, across the Atlantic than it is here. All that said, let me ask you here again. It's another one of these times I have to ask you, have you ever heard of the Loyal True Blues? Of course you haven't, right? Right. But it also begs the question, what can we do to help advance this? I hope and pray that what we've done here in this particular segment has helped to advance and grow the Loyal True Blues. Because I want to see them not only survive but thrive, right? I did try to reach out to the Loyal True Blues here in Canada. I'm not going to get into how that went. Okay, I'm not, right? But I loved how Brother Knox explained what this organization means to him and the benefits of this particular of the Loyal True Blues. Okay, it's something that's open to both men and women. A lot of people complain that fraternalism and the loyal orders can be cagey or kind of steered towards men. No, this is something that it's for both men and women, right? I think that's wonderful, right? And it is an organization that I will definitely be swinging back to. You have not seen the last of Brother Knox here on Points of Light Radio. You will be seeing him again, okay? But I'm going to leave it at that because I have another interview I have to do here in a few minutes. But before I go, I want to remind you that this podcast is available on both YouTube and Spreaker. Please share, like, and subscribe when you're viewing Points of Light Radio on YouTube. I also welcome your comments and input. I also want to draw your attention to the PayPal link in the details section of this particular segment. You can hit on that link, make a voluntary donation to Points of Light Radio. We will use that donation to move the podcast forward. Points of Light Radio is not a sponsor-driven podcast. My Facebook, you can see the link to my Facebook channel, which is facebook.com/Points of Light Radio. My X handle is at PO Light Radio. My Bluesky handle is at polayradio.bsky.social. You can also see the link to my Spotify channel. Brothers and sisters, this has been an absolute pleasure finally being able to feature the Loyal True Blues, right? And until we meet again, just step into the light.